I wish I had shown the screen where it was actually downloading the thing. It was actually a pretty cool background. But yeah, that means it must be getting closer to the next expansion, which means I could finally... I've been actually wondering. I always forget exactly how long they take in this game. Why is this one like... Oh, they changed how these work, like, to a golden ticket. Maybe because they've been there for so fucking long, or that's just maybe a new mechanic. I don't know what else it's giving you there, like a free ticket for, like, a draft or something. But... No, I'm going to continue torturing myself until the next draft, which means I always do it at the beginning of the next expansion. And as soon as an expansion starts, the first episode, I try to do a 10k draft, but I don't even have 10k gold because I've been lazy and slacking on these daily quests, but which I only care to prioritize doing even in this once a week session when I really feel like whatever, there's like a cosmetic on the mastery tree that I really want, and this time there really wasn't one that I cared about. So that's really the only thing I, am motivated to care for. Otherwise, I just play kind of randomly. But the point is that I'm going to continue torturing myself with this blue and white thing. And I think I'm pretty much done even trying to iterate on them because, just a random casual mythic wildcard that I barely even expected or care about getting right now. But the point is that I sort of split them into two separate decks. I was trying to use them as bad as they are, and as much as I hate blue and white even individually, I was torturing myself all the more by forcing myself to use them together, but that just wasn't even working in a raw sense. Psychic Frogs Horizon Hideaway. What the fuck? Oh, it's like some sort of temporary token event type thing. Like, they do this in Hearthstone all the time. They copied Hearthstone. Like, where it's some sort of event-specific ticket with respect to 43 days remaining. I assume that would be the number of days before the next expansion too, maybe? Unspent currency after the expiration will be lost. So that you can get how many tickets from doing this? Exactly, 45 tickets. Wait, that's actually pretty good. If that's only 85, that means I could just do like 2 daily quests and I would just get it. That seems almost too generous. Wait, where was that again? What exactly are these things that you're getting, though? This is like an avatar? Yeah, that's actually not a bad rate. Huh. But whatever. The point, yeah, that'll motivate me now to try to do the daily quest. Like, it should be that hard anyway. Like, why should it have taken more than one of... I guess killing creatures is not something you're doing a lot, though, in this game, because you can't deliberately attack them. So that can be one of the most annoying ones to do. Yeah, whatever. We'll keep rotating between these. If I lose one, I'll play as the other. So we have the blue and the white, which now they're only blue and only white. And also there's a condition if I win a best of 3, I'm able to play the other game. But I probably won't even do that today anyway. It doesn't mean I have to. Or I could just play it once, like Magic Online, which I just started playing like a month ago or something like that. Just I did it like on a Saturday session, just when I'm playing a game I've never played before. Just to kind of introduce that possibility. So I said at the end of each of these episodes, I can just play it for like a little bit if I win like a best of 3, which isn't a very high standard, but whatever. Just like another gimmicky format we can add to this as an option. But I wouldn't want to stop doing this because I want to keep, I don't want to replace the series with that yet anyway, because I want to keep building on my collection here, which I didn't even understand exactly how you're supposed to build up your collection in that game, because there was nothing like on the shop. There was just like this one thing for $4.99, like a starter pack or something for real money, but there was nothing aside from just maybe buying into drafts with like your beginner player tickets that you would maybe earn rewards from that. But I didn't see like an outright fuck, man. You either get fucked on cost or on lands or something that you just can't do. Or no, you don't need to do that. Like, you would basically be in a position where you would just have to play like an arena equivalent thing, and then you would, if based on how you do, you can get more tickets to play in another arena and get packs from that. But other than that, I didn't see much. But what's interesting is you start with like 2,000 cards, which is as many as I have just from you making a new account. You get 2,000 cards in your collection, which is the same amount I have here after like a year and a half playing, right? So that is kind of weird. They're very generous maybe at the beginning. Not saying a lot of those cards are even good, but although in this collection a lot of them wouldn't be good either, but that's just because I built them sort of suboptimally. But no, this deck you get fucked on the curve because you don't have too many low cost cards. And of course the gimmick is clear that every card must have either either ward or hexproof, or maybe even flying. But no, I think flying is only there as a secondary thing. I was trying to do that with the white, like everything with the white can have flying, but so everything has ward or hexproof. So surprisingly, there aren't that many cards in the game that are actually maybe low cost with either of those, or actually good with between these mechanics. Especially hexproof. I was trying to make it just hexproof, but there's just not enough of them, period. But I think I have probably every hexproof card maybe in the game. I've made, you know, I went out of my way to always try to craft them. So, fuck me. This happens like every single fucking game. Like, it's not that we don't have enough lands, but then I had too many lands and not enough low-cost minions, so then I mulligan that. Then I get a low-cost minion and the invisible stalker, but then I lose the land, so... At least here, instead of Hearthstone, can we actually see a non-bot experience where it would be interesting to try to judge like how you can identify them in this game as much. Oh shit, that's a pretty sick portrait. I don't feel like I've seen that one before. Whenever you draw a card, yeah, same fucking thing. The pictures of people there are a little bit silly, though. Cartoonish. This we can't do anything. But no, a certain principle behind this was like an unmitigatable, uninteractive experience that you're trying to give to your opponent, where they already can't attack your minions on demand. Now they can't even target them with a removal. So the only thing that they can do is that they can basically... I don't even care. Like, you obviously you're gonna win this one. So they can't target them, and then you can also get unmitigatable damage. So you can't attack them, you can't target them, you can only use AoE on them, and the invisible stalker can bypass your defenses, and he sort of represents what I was trying to do with this a little bit. And then I was trying to buff him, but the buffs just are too expensive and inefficient, even on top of the fact that most of these minions are already inefficient, which you might think is justified because they're hexproof, but not really, because, you know, like a 5-mana 2/5 with no other effect besides hexproof is not exactly good value. And then the other thing is the simple fact that what do you call it, just like flying also, to try to make them unmitigatable. Not saying that nobody has flying stuff in their deck, but sometimes you'll catch them off guard, and that can be just as annoying if you're kind of like me when I use green. Right, I don't have any flying stuff in there, obviously, because green doesn't have much flying. But I also don't have some of the counter stuff, whether it be things with reach or things just that are removal for flying. Oh, this is kind of going to be the new Thought Seize, that everybody would use that in this format, obviously. Target opponent reveals their hand, you choose an online card. Yeah, isn't it basically the exact same thing? But of course, I can't even get my dinky little invisible stalker play off. Like, why is everything just so fucking high cost, man? And there's nothing that I have that's going to help me do that, right? Like, I get mana screwed no matter what I fucking do. Even as green, that would sometimes happen, which is kind of a shame, because obviously I have the simple ability to have like so many mana generating minions in there, which doesn't seem to be... What the fuck? I'm the one who's getting mana screwed. Why would you assume that you would have to resign there? What the fuck? They're playing for a gimmick as much as me, maybe. That seemed utterly absurd that, like, you would think you were going to lose that game. I probably wouldn't have still been able to do anything for a very long time. No, I don't have any of the things that you would see a lot probably in blue decks, such as removal, or such as, you know, actual spells. Or, you know, cycling through your deck like crazy, or trying to mill anybody. I feel like mill I've just seen very rarely in this game. Right, it's only been as blue, and it's only been with those stupid turtles. Which, you know, I'm not saying it's even that bad, but... people were even saying that it's maybe more common at the low to mid levels. Maybe this month I haven't won like a single fucking best of 3 or anything. Okay, let's go with that. Yeah, if they don't get off to a crazy start like this, they can't be blocked except by 3 or more creatures. I mean, I like them getting themselves this low with respect to, you know, giving me the opening if I get just like one thing with flying, but they're all just so inefficient and overly expensive. You could say that makes it worth it, like, oh, 3/2, but it has flying and it has hexproof, so that makes it worth it. But does it really? Maybe at the time that it came out, which it might be a much older card, but I don't know all these symbols offhand, like what, you know, which expansion was which and when it came out. But you know, this game has only been out for 6 years, so it's not like it's gonna be like I don't know which ones they really started with. They certainly didn't start with the beginning of the game, which is why the whole of the actual game, which is why the whole online thing is much more authentic to the actual experience. But again, to me, that wouldn't make much of a difference. At least this one went quickly. Yeah, that's my win condition right there. Just let me whack you with it 20 times or do enough of your health indifference. I actually kind of want that card, just overall, reanimate. So that's my kind of ramp type of thing. But yeah, I've used green adequately, so I'm gonna kind of rotate through every color in some sort of way. So like I've packed off green, so now I'm doing blue and white. And so after this next draft, I'll switch over to doing like red and black, just for whatever. I'll make like a gimmick deck with that, whether I do both of them and then I split them into just one of each. Yeah, let's see how many of those stupid ass tickets do I have, and where do they even show in your collection? That means I got at least 45. Wait, what happened though? Oh, it just moved over. Yeah, if I just do these other ones, blue obviously I'm going to do very easily. Black and green I won't be able to do at all. So yeah, let's just we lost with that, so let's switch over to the white, even though this is going to be even shittier because this is just going to be either buffing and flying to just get something out there that they can't mitigate, because they apparently, or maybe there's some ward stuff in here too, that they don't have flying, or they don't have enough mana to be able to get through your ward, is what you're hoping. And then you get to, you know, keep whacking them in the face and they can't do anything about it. And then obviously they also get, oh yeah, let me make that just so I don't forget. I don't think I have too many wild cards even with which to make stuff though. So I'll save this mythic card for maybe the next, yeah, I don't have shit, for the next set of things that I do, which will be for, again, black or red, right? Why don't we make something fun for that? Because I think I made everything that I could, whether it has ward or hexproof, that would have, you know, I don't even want to look, otherwise I'll tempt myself, but I'll just see. I'm pretty sure I do. Just because I like that mechanic so much, I would never feel like, you know, I would have made just everything, period, but especially something that's really good if it's mythic. Like, I even made that stupid squid thing. Like, I'm not even looking by rarity, but if you're just looking by hexproof, period, it would probably be something high cost. Hexproof cycling, these are all just kind of very inefficient. Like, how about one that's actually a decent cost? Like, it's not that expensive or anything. I guess this one is at least not... Wait, what am I even looking up? Maybe something with ward, which again is just poor man's bootleg hexproof. That's just not as fun or interesting. I'm just assuming they'll all be like super high cost. I'm obviously not going to do it if it's black anyway. Ward 3. I'm just hoping one of these will actually be good value by sheer accident, but they're just not. Storm of Saruman. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, you copy it. Is this a real thing that actually happens in the Lord of the Rings? I don't remember this. When he just causes a fucking meteor shower to come down. When the Swirling Sky dies, okay, 6 mana, 6/6. That in itself is actually not that bad. And that is mythic. I better not do it, though. I'm just not getting to the point where I can play any of these things anyway, so it wouldn't matter. Right, like, we're not getting to turn 6. Or I'm not getting to 6th land anyway. But this one is even going to be shittier than the blue one. Or yeah, what I was also trying to do, in addition to saying that, oh, I can play online if I win one of these best of threes, is also the simple fact that if I want to see which one does better too. Like we went we went 1 and 2 there because they resigned one game very quickly, and I'm not sure why even. And then all I did was play like one fucking dinky 3-1 with flying and ward. But well, whichever one does better, then I'll keep playing as that maybe for the rest of the session. So like we went 1 and 2. So now if I go 0 and 2, then I'll play as that one. I don't fucking know. Like we're trying to compete to see which one is actually even worse. I'm pretty sure this is just flying and maybe ward and maybe, because there really aren't very many hexproof white cards, it's flying and ward and buffs possibly. Or maybe I just ditched the whole buff idea because it wasn't really doing very well for me. Not that any of this is really being that good, but these are at least going to give you a... Oh, maybe this one's actually not that inefficient. So everything is just going to have flying, so I'm going to hope they don't have flying themselves, and I get to... This is going to turn out to be actually better than the blue one, because... Not that that's saying much, but I was kind of expecting that one's better. Just because you're actually going to be able to play stuff in the early game. Right, which is way too much to ask. Whether I'm getting land screwed or mana screwed, and just everything's way too high cost and inefficient. Okay, dude, now they're trying to rub into my face. This is how you're actually supposed to play blue. Just by spamming spells, but I do spam spells. They're just creature spells. It's kind of interesting to think about this game in terms of Pokemon type advantages. Like, what would, you know, birds have an advantage over fish, right? Like in, whatever. Flying has an advantage over water type. So if you white would have an advantage over blue by that token, or whatever. Like, you know, red is going to have an advantage over green because its fire has an advantage over, it's super effective on grass Pokemon. Which to some extent, certain playstyles are going to have that advantage anyway, but it's not going to work exactly like that. Right, like a slow control water deck, blue deck is going to be better against something. I don't even fucking know how this game works in that context as much, or its current meta is going to be completely different than that anyway. Like maybe originally it would have made more sense that way, but... Like aggro can sometimes beat control. Control is going to be mid-range. Mid-range can kind of beat anything at times. It's just because it's so balanced, but yeah, this is really gonna win me the game here. +1/+1 counter until end of turn. Oh yeah, this is how strapped I was for trying to get buffs off, is that they're so inefficient that I just settled for the ones that even last only till the end of turn, which doesn't even make any sense because they're garbage. But either cumulatively using them over the course of the game is going to make it worth it, or just using it all together in like an OTK. I'm going to buff this guy fucking 10 times to be able to do 12 damage, and they'll never see it coming. But yeah, a lot of these people have been using the same cards over and over, which would either stand to reason that they're all bots, but they're basically bots in a different sense, that they're real players, but they, you know, play and think like bots, that they would, you know, mindlessly use the same thing, and just everybody uses Thoughtseize, everybody uses that guy. Right, even though it's timeless mode, where it's supposed to have such a great sense of variety to it. You can use every card in the history of the game, but also you'll just metagame and then complain about how stale the meta is, potentially. At least I am the change I wish to see in the world to some extent, that I always use these kind of fun and interesting different gimmick type of ideas. Whether they're actually that fun or that good, I mean, I never really even pretend like they're meant to be good, but, you know, at least committing to a mechanic or having some sort of fun theme or idea to it. So, you know, use a deck with only creatures, or with only spells, or with only, you know, one mechanic, or, you know, commit very hard to certain mechanics. So just every card has to be hexproof, every card has to be flying, every card has to be ward. And a lot of what you'll see with that is a lot of that just means they have to be minions too, because I just don't like using spells necessarily as much. This one technically does have hexproof, so that's why I'm considering it to count, but you gotta wait till you're like super low on health and then do it. What if you did another one on top of it, I wonder? Like, there's nothing that says you can't have another one. So what if I play 4 of these? Or like when one's about to get... I guess it still can't leave the battlefield though, so it wouldn't matter. Like, it would have 8 stacks, and then you play another one, but it doesn't mean that you can't lose, right? This one will still leave the battlefield. It's not going to override it or something. So that might actually throw them off a little bit with respect to... I mean, this 5/5 could actually do some pretty good damage if they can't deal with it. But the problem is they can just use too much removal here, that I'm sort of spoiled by them never being able to use removal against the blue deck, but they still use some fucking AoEs and shit. I just need like 3 turns with this kind of base, which is actually going to work, especially, you know, I let them get me low, and then I do this, and then it buys me a couple more turns. So it actually kind of makes sense. Last time I used it, but I used it like now, just when I'm at 20 health. So 2 more turns would probably still do it. I'm sure I can get the difference of 1 damage. So if they just can't deal with this stupid ass thing. Yeah, so even give... the healing is what does it, though. The healing, dude. Imagine using white and complaining about your opponent healing, but... You know, obviously I'm not using it in that way. So I'm basically already dead unless I do this. Right? I don't think I can do anything else. So I'm just gonna lose because of the healing that they keep doing, that we've seen this movie before. This is the whole irony of it. It's like, how could I enjoy playing the same deck over and over with the same gimmick? Like, I've used the same ward, hexproof, flying kind of shit for like the last month, right? Don't I get bored of using the same shit? Or how I would use green, I would just use the same dinosaur green deck over and over that I like, with a little bit of ramp and good statting and Galton, Gigantosaurus. But then the irony is that I'm seeing the same stuff on the other side too, that they keep using the same shit. How many times have I seen this card? So it's like you're replacing one thing that's very repetitious for another with respect to... They're repetitively using the meta, and I'm repetitively using the fucking gimmick that I decide. So at least, you know, one, I'm doing just more so because I actually enjoy it, not because I think it's good. I mean, I lose anyway, but... Okay, at least hurry up. Dude, that first set at least went very quickly. So that means blue... Oh, no. We still get another game, though. This is still the first game. But yeah, we've seen this too many times. We've seen Thoughtseize too many times. So it's kind of sad to see that. Don't you think timeless mode should mean that people are using all kinds of variety of stuff? That could all be very good, too, admittedly. But maybe it's some sort of budget standard. Like... These cards are just very easy to make, and just like, I don't see why you would think like that though. But whatever decks they're using are like very budget, commonly used ones. That's why we're seeing them so much at a low rank. But we would see variety later on. But I mean, I'm assuming Thoughtseize and this guy are just very good, and literally everybody is fucking using them. Which is just boring. Like, what's the fucking point, dude? We're both bronze fucking clowns, and I've beaten like gold players too, even in this timeless format, as much as everybody fear mongers about it. Like, oh, don't play timeless, it's way too competitive, it's way too hard. Okay, so this would be that we don't have any actual fucking land. This is okay, I guess. But no, there is at least an interesting way to use that obviously I didn't do at first. Or, you know, Toxic could work in very much a similar sense. Even if they have healing, if I hit them enough with the Toxic thing, the Toxic plus flying plus hexproof plus ward plus all these mechanics together are the ultimate troll. Unmitigatable damage. So this creature has flying, it also can't be blocked, even though those two kind of go together. It also can't be countered, it also has Toxic, it also has hexproof, right? So you just basically can't do anything about it. That doesn't mean I'll last long enough to actually still be able to win because of that, but at least the principle behind it is kind of good. Right, like leave this around for 10 turns and I would kill you anyway because it would hit 20 damage, but of course I'm assuming you're not going to have healing. But the problem with this is it's just going to have too much in the way of it's going to have too much in the way of just removal too, because you're not going to be able to stop it from being blocked. Or I mean, you're not going to have hexproof and ward to stop it from being removed. But yeah, I wonder how many actual flying toxic things there are in the game. Probably not very many. In fact, this might be the only one. That would be a legitimate gimmick in itself. Just like as many toxic things that can't be blocked. Assuming, again, that they don't have flying. So a lot of this is best case scenario. Or just like something that gives something else toxic. So just give it to the invisible stalker. Right, with a buff. And then you just fucking roll over them. Yeah, that we should wait. So if we don't win one, then I'll just play the blue one a couple more times. And I'll play the blue one, and then if that wins, I'll play on. That's what it should be. You do 3 best of 3s, and then if you win one, right, this could be like the official way that I do it, but it doesn't have to be, and it leads to kind of even shorter episodes than normal of what I do. But you do 3 best of 3, so you do 1 with each color, right? So I do 1 with the blue and 1 with the white, and whichever one does better, even if it doesn't win, whichever one does better, then I play that again. And then if I win between any of those 3 times, right, then I can do online. So I have to win a best of 3, so I could win all 3 of them too, but I would still do it just to see which one like really does better. But then it'll end up being where, you know, there could be a draw because they both go 0 and whatever. They both go 0 and 2, or they also could be a situation where, you know, they win one and they win one of the set, right? Like how, you know, with the blue one I just did that, and then they lose it overall though, so then that still doesn't count for the overall thing, but it counts for still doing better. So like, who's the best loser? I'll see that blue actually lost better than this because I'm gonna obviously lose this one. I'll give blue a best of 3 chance to actually win one, and then I'll see if I can do online. Oh yeah, and I'll hopefully we should have done this stupid ass daily quest too, that we can get like one of those whatever, I assume they're avatars, but from this new little ticket mechanic that they're trying to do. But no, they'll have these like little events in Hearthstone that are like that too. You'll get like these little runic power, I forget what it even is, but you'll get some other kind of currency that you can only use for that to unlock rewards only in that little temporary setup. But it's also asking you for like 2,000 fucking gems that are not really a, you know, monetary or only currency. You can get them in a free-to-play sense, but you get them from doing drafts and stuff. I forget actually though, how do you get them in the first place? If there are certain ones that you can buy into with gold, but they give you gems, and then you can buy into the next one with gems that'll also give you gems or whatever, but you can't convert gold into gems directly, but through that you kind of can. You pay 5,000 gold to play a mode that gives you like 100 gems or some shit, I don't know, for winning X number of games. I forget what the conversion rate actually even is. Okay, I'm obviously gonna lose. But no, like flying hexproof would be an interesting idea. Or I mean, flying even toxic would be cool too. Now I could drag it out at least a little bit with 9 lives, but the question is, what is my actual board presence and win condition? And of course, if they have any kind of healing, that hard counters me because, you know, you're expecting to just kind of zerg them down a little bit. Like, whatever. This one's just over. So, but see, I should always try to, for the integrity of seeing which one does better, I should still try to win this one to the best of my ability to see that it matches that. But then we'd have to do a tie break, best of 3 for each one. Like, they both go 1 and 2, so they both lose, but, you know, we see which one does better between that. So it can be a draw with me just losing both sets, and going 0 and 2, or still losing and going 1 and 2. But okay, so blue just wins, and then I fucking don't have to do that one. I mean, I don't like either of these, but I somehow feel like blue is a little better, right? But it's actually just so curved mana screwed, because everything is just like, let me actually look at the curve. Why is it that every single game is going like that? Everything is very inefficient for its statting, like even a 5 mana 2/5, but you would think there'd be something lower that I can actually play. Like, okay, the fairy is very good. This one is okay. I mean, again, just stuff that you can actually play. You have 2/1 cost, you have 2/2 cost. That's not actually that bad. Then 1/3 cost, and you do have, a very good amount of land in there. In fact, I think I have even more land since I so hard committed to my thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. So I have almost too much land, but it's still not enough to play these fucking extremely overcost, inefficient minions, because yeah, I have like one of every single one that meets the criteria, right? But I don't have enough to actually fill in like a 40 card 20 land structure that I typically like to go for. So I have even more land than normal. Yeah, everything has either hexproof or ward, or maybe no, I don't think this one even focuses on flying. Some things might have flying just anyway, but that would be literally my character, this avatar. If there was a magic MMO, I'd be fucking tanking through 5-mana dungeons. Like, let me just not even worry about it, because we have so much land that you shouldn't even worry about not mulliganing for that reason. But like sometimes I'll be like, okay, just so I don't get mana screwed, I'll just do it. Land screwed, I mean, but it'll be one extreme or the other. Either there's nothing you can play for like 5 turns, or you'll have stuff you can play, but then you're not going to get even 1 or 2 lands to be able to do it, like the Invisible Stalker. Let's treat this like the... oh, shit. Let's treat this like the final showdown. That they're quitting because their hand sucks, but what they don't assume that my hand doesn't suck either. Like, why am I not playing anything either? The only way that I win is if they overestimate that I actually have a chance of winning. They could have the shittiest start ever, but their deck is still going to be much better than mine, so it wouldn't even matter. Like that one win that I just got in the other best of 3 with this, right? They just resigned on like turn 2 or whatever. I summoned the 3/1, right? And it's like I wasn't going to probably win that anyway. Now all I have to do is win one of the next 2, and then this actually does count, and then I actually will do maybe 1 game in online just for the fuck of it, whether I win or lose that. It's not like there's any sort of daily quest type of thing with that game, though. It doesn't seem like, right? Or no like reward for logging in every day or every week. Okay, look at this, dude. You would assume land wouldn't be an issue. That's why I'm saying I shouldn't worry about mulliganing for... oh my fucking god. We get one of the only like 3 or 4 cards that I can actually play in the early game, because of the fact that, whatever, that's still fine. We got the 3 lands, we got the 1 minion that I can actually play, 1 mana 1/2 with ward 2, which is actually, compared to most of these, not that bad of a value. Like if you compare it to this, so it's a 5 mana 5/10 if you were to... yeah, that doesn't even fucking make sense. If you were to use the same statting all the way through. Discard 2 cards, I'm not going to discard shit. I forget what sort of keyboard hotkeys there are for this game. Like, there should be one that just does this automatic, whatever is on the bottom right here automatically. And there's one that like sort of bluffs it out. Like, bluffs that you have an interaction where it asks you even if you don't. Which is something that could have been sorely used in certain Yu-Gi-Oh games, where it would automatically, it would ask you, do you want to play your trap card now? But if it doesn't ask you, then they would know you don't have a trap card. Okay, so we have a decent amount of this, but we still can't play a single fucking thing because it's unbelievable, really. And it's not like these are even winning plays. Like, wow, I save a 5 land so I can finally play this, but it's a fucking 5-mana 2/5 that doesn't do shit. But oh, at least you can't get rid of it, so at least I have board control. I mean, you would think they would have resigned this one too, based on the fact that they didn't have anything they could play either. Right, like they're still not doing anything. Alright, this is Ward 2, tap a creature. Okay, that's actually pretty good timing for this. But my main win condition is just the Invisible Stalker anyway, for the simple fact that, you know, you get to just do this sort of unmitigatable damage, because I'm not going to be able to deal with that like ever unless I get, you know, now I would need even more land, and then I would need one of my many big minions, but they're going to be like way too high cost anyway. Or is this also something that can't be blocked? Creature with Skull can't be blocked by creatures with greater power. I've seen that effect before, but I've never seen that keyword. Or even flying is what I have to rely on that. So now it'll untap only on the next turn. So between the Invisible Stalker and the flying, you might actually have a chance of winning this. Right, it'll take 2 turns, assuming they don't have healing and assuming I can survive long enough, which I actually probably should be able to. Oh, shit. Other permanents you have indestructible, so now the flying isn't going to actually help me. And they even have vigilance, so I'm not going to be able to take advantage of that. So they're just going to fucking whack me. Come on, bro. We have to sit here for the Invisible Stalker for fucking 8 turns. Would be my only chance of winning. Oh my god. Or you could just win on maybe the pure numbers game of if I have enough things to attack with, which isn't going to come into play for a while. But like even now, okay, they have 2 things to block with, but that would still be good enough for them. They would have to block this with this. They would yeah, it doesn't matter. Alright, so we still get another chance the next game, but this would have been probably my best chance. Holy shit, dude. Indestructible. Wow, it only gets it from that. Okay. They're going to go all in, but maybe if I survive this, right, you get to 2, 8. Okay, so I have to block just one of them, and this, oh no, they both have trample. Oh, they all have trample. Wait, what is giving everything trample? Other permanents have indestructible. Wait, what even happened? I don't even get it. Let's see. So assume that you have to only block for... You're going to take 18 damage with the trample. So you have to block a total of only... Like, what, 4 damage? You're going to take... Or, I mean, 3. If I just block for a worth of 3 to any of these, that should still keep me alive. Right, and then I can... Actually, I might still be able to finish you off then. So I block for 3, you hit me anyway. Or maybe... I don't understand even what happened, but... We still have 7 to kill you with. Oh, shit. Or no. Wait, we don't, because that doesn't have flying. Fuck. God damn it. Or even if it did, you would need another whatever, dude. Okay, we got one final showdown. I don't know why he resigned so quickly in the first one. Like, we've seen 2 resignations that are total clown level behavior, especially when you consider how bad my decks always are. They just give me maybe too much credit that I'm actually using something good. Is that The first person resigned after I just played like a 3-1, like on turn 2 or 3. That didn't mean anything. And then this guy resigned before I even did anything. Like, I didn't even play anything on the board. So it could be that, oh, their hand is so bad, but still, why the fuck would they do that? You should always wait to see what a clown show fucking gimmick deck I'm actually using. At least it shows that we have a legitimate chance, because that was pretty close. It's just... It's even the vigilance that does it too. Not even the fact that, oh, indestructible, flying, whatever. It's just, if they attack in, then at least I would have been able to finish them off. So they would have had to hesitate. I mean, I do it for the sake of the land, but just have to hope we draw into some minions. I really shouldn't even think like that. Right, for some of my decks, I would just, okay, I'm going to make sure I have land, because I always get land screwed, but with this, I have just too much land anyway. Then at least I can't complain about the high cost shit that I have in here. But it's just too slow. Like, that, why can't I get that fairy more often, right? Like, if I was doing this for optimal purposes, even within the context of the gimmick, I'd have like 4 of the invisible stalkers, 4 of the fairies. In fact, I think I might still have 4 invisible. No, I don't know. I might have reduced everything to 1 just for the sake of variety, but even then we don't have enough to fill 40 cards. Malcolm, Alluring Scoundrel. Sounds like something somebody would have called Malcolm X if they did one of his detractors. That Alluring Scoundrel. Okay, hurry up, dude. Yeah, at least this guy's deck doesn't seem that good. Right, if he gives me even a vague chance and hope of winning, that shows you it must be complete fucking shit. Come on, just let me do it. We were so close that last game too, but again, I'm never gonna have any removal for... Even that tapping effect was quite good. Like, whatever the one, that Frost Giant thing is. So it comes in and taps them basically just for the next turn. That lets me get a little extra damage in. You got to think of this almost as an aggro deck. It's just a really shitty, inefficient one that's very slow and has like very high cost, low attack minions, which is not at all what an aggro deck should be about. But that's my only win condition. Even when I would play green in those sort of mid-range styles, it would still feel like that, because if I don't finish them off very quickly, right, I'm gonna get screwed. I'm never gonna win like a long game control type matchup. Or even, quite frankly, other mid-range type matchups, because they're just going to have better value than me anyway. But this is not going to even get any damage in, so I just need you to slowly let me chip away at you. Like, literally sit there for 6 turns with no ability to heal or to deal with this. And then I actually have a chance, but it... Oh, God. Already... Board, hexproof. I mean, these two are basically the same. Again, they're in there just for pure variety purposes. So they have vigilance, so there's nothing I can actually do about it. Indestructible, flying. What was like the last thing I was using as... I might have been using like a rainbow thing as green before I switched over to doing these. So that's why I had like even Gishath, that is my avatar, right, is like a rainbow card. I was trying to use like every one dinosaur of at least every color. So I had one of these even blue, like a 7/7 fish dinosaur type. Let's see. I really just can't do anything at all, though. At least the dragon I could potentially block, but I mean, everything has indestructible, so what the fuck am I supposed to do? Yeah. This should be in my white deck, actually. Right, because if I'm allowed to use flying... How does he keep summoning it so easily, though? You may cast a discarded card, deals combat damage to a player, a chorus counter on it. Draw a card, then discard a card. If there are 4 or more chorus counters on it. Okay, there's really nothing I could do there anyway, so it's fine. Yeah, I'm not going to be tempted to waste any more wild cards on this. I'll just save them for some potential black/red deck with respect to... Maybe I should give myself one more chance then, since we don't get to play the fucking... Oh, let me first get that thing. That is so dumb, though. This is like a new thing that I've never actually seen offered before. Wait, but... Oh, wait, I got 49. I thought I had 45 from that. Or I didn't actually complete the daily quest then. Fuck. That thing will be around for a while, though. That doesn't actually seem that hard to do then. If you just do your daily quest, you'll get one like every single, you know, 2 or 3. If it's giving you 45. That's so fucking stupid, though. I guess there doesn't have to be a rule that I only have to do it once. Right, but at least I only get the one chance, let's say, to play online after this. So now I'll just do it just for the sake of it. Right, so that can be kind of the rule set of how I play, is that I'll do one with each of the... Fuck's sake, dude. I'll do one with each of the blue and the white, and whichever one does better, then I play for the rest of the time. But only the first one that I do after we decide which one did better, right? Only the first one actually gets to count towards doing the online thing. Right, so between those first 3, I have to win at least one game. Or like one best of 3, and then that allows me to do it. It's like one of those best case scenario things where it can actually not be that bad. Well, it is still pretty bad, but if everything goes the right way and they can't deal with the hexproof or the flying or the invisible stalker or whatever, right, it wouldn't take that long potentially to kill them, but they're going to put their own amount of pressure on me. And again, just the early game is too shitty. You got to get something out there like the fairy, which for some reason I just never get in my starting hand. You know, you start with both the fairy and the invisible stalker, and they can't do anything about it. This one they can sort of choose to tap it, but at least they'll give me these 1/1 dinky fishes, which is actually not bad. But they can sort of tap anything, right? If it's untapped, anybody may tap an untapped creature they control. If they do tap it and create a 1... Oh no, they can only tap this with it. But then again, they're going to keep allowing me to spam these fucking 1/1 fishes on the board, which is actually fine.
You know what's happened to all my enemies? They're toast.
And I guess I shouldn't even worry about shit like this, because
do you good.
I shouldn't waste my turns attacking that. Or like even that's fine. Like, can't be blocked. Yeah, even that, you know, who needs a fucking invisible stalker? When you have that, you're giving like a free invisible stalker just to tap this shitty 6/6 that I don't even care about. Like, I should just go for it, dude. 2 more turns like that. The 20 health value is so deceptive sometimes. Just that, you know, it seems so easy to get through, and OTK should be so common in this game, but it doesn't always work like that. Just don't let them get to 8.
Go on. Impress me.
And it doesn't even matter in this context, because if they're doing it on their turn, I'll still get untapped on mine. So why does that matter? We've at least gotten a decent board out here. Oh, shit, man. Why do you always have to have a counter for one of these things? Or you're not even going to really worry about it, though. I'm gonna hit you for literally 7, 8, 9, 10. Right, so this must count creature spells though too. And so I wonder if it counts himself. So if you summon him and something else. My board is actually not bad. And this guy can't be blocked, so using that effect will come at your own peril. That is such a weird effect. Tap it and create a 1/1 blue fish with this creature can't be blocked. Why not that it can't block their shit? Why would it be that they can block, but they're gonna still get trampled? That's probably literally why I would have put it in there if nothing else, because oh, it creates me an invisible stalker if they do use that effect. But this is actually at least a decent value card, and the downside is only moderately bad. Okay, literally next turn would do it, but now they're going to do some crazy recovery play that we see so often in this game, where it seems, you know, so many times I'll have that where it seems like I'm gonna win. That would happen a lot with green. My board's really good, their health's really low, and then they do like a 50 move interaction thing and actually fucking roll me away, which my decks never have that, because it's just not, you know, I don't have combo plays. I just have static board shit that I typically like to do, or at least that's what I've been doing so far with this. I wonder if that legacy mode in online actually means that you can't use newer stuff either. It doesn't just mean you can't use, it doesn't just mean you can use old stuff. It means maybe you have to only use that. That's more important, right? So even timeless mode here, this will let you use any card in the history of the game, which in at least this version of the game. But that's good. It's just that people will still be able to use newer shit. So, you know, I want one that restricts you, like you can use old stuff, but you can only use old stuff. You should just be dead. Right, between the flying, like, why would you even do that? Between the flying, between the whatever, it can't be blocked, between the trample. Oh wait, you untap that, so the flying's not gonna work. I mean, between all this, you should still win. I just want to be absolutely sure. One less to cast for each instant sorcery card in your graveyard, so I'm certainly not going to benefit from that. You are going to have that. Shit, here we go, dude. So you'll have to block this with this. So like, you won't be able to block this. I'm just going to do it, but so you have to block the flying thing with the flying thing, which means you have to also sack the 3/3 for the 4/4. And so you'll still survive, but right, like you don't have a choice. If you don't block this with this, I mean, if you don't block it with the flying, then you're just gonna die. And then we have two of these unblockable fishes, a phrase I never thought I would utter. Couldn't I choose to do that too? Any opponent. The way they phrase those things is sometimes, so you didn't have to actually lose there though, because you could have given up the 3/3, and of course that's only the first win. I'm acting like I win the whole set, but at least that's the first legitimate win of the day, where somebody's not just resigning super early for seemingly no fucking reason. But no, it says like any opponent, or whatever, your opponents, like you're playing multiple people, everything is like a tag duel based on how they use the verbiage here, which I imagine must be common then in real life tournaments and stuff, where you can do like 2v2s and all, but there is no mode in this game that seemingly lets you do that. So right, that terminology can be confusing. Are we gonna get a 2-0 fucking win to redeem all our shitty failures so far? And a lot of the time you can look at this that I might even be playing everything perfectly. It's just that my deck itself is so bad that you can't help it. But I still enjoy that context more than using something that is always you know, meta and preconceived because of the simple fact that, you know, it's sort of a means argument. Within the context of the deck that you're using, it would still be, you know, you can try your best to win, or you can be the best player in the world, but you have to kind of fit within that criteria. People sometimes lose the script of, you know, if everybody uses the same deck and it's the same, you know, meta top tier shit, sure, there's going to be some level of variance, but that's going to be very small, right? It's still going to be, the deck is like 75% and RNG is the other 25%. So 0% is actual player impact, or whatever, like 5% is going to be that. I've been using these cosmetics for actually too long. I keep forgetting to change them. I don't even know what I want to change them into. And as far as my dinosaur completionist thing, I want like every cosmetic to be related to dinosaurs because of how much I like them in this game. I don't have a pet, right? I have a card back that's like a pterodactyl. I have the thing, but the only pet I think I could have gotten was the one from maybe the reward track that would have been way too expensive to get, that I would have never been able to afford unless I actually got paid real money, which I haven't done on anything here, although I have wasted a lot of my in-game currency on cosmetics that you wouldn't think I should do as a free-to-play player, as a free-to-play new first-time player. I guess not really all that new now, but just because of what I've chosen to use, it doesn't seem like I'm really that experienced. And then what was the other thing? Just the fact that even the way I've built my collection, like with the number of wild cards I have, right? Like how many mythics have I crafted, and how many, you know, how many cards have I collected of each rarity versus how good is my actual collection based on that in terms of, what is that from? Shadow Spear. That sounds like something from a Kingdom Hearts game or some shit. Wait, this will let you buy some time at least a little bit with the dinky 0-2s. Like, this is literally what my deck is about. I'm summoning 1/1 fucking goldfishes and 0-2 fucking whatever these are. But of course they can't even deal with this flying thing, which is okay. But you know, you could even just trade this shit into there too, but it's gonna take like 3 turns to actually untap. I'm losing to my own sort of gimmick mechanic of just, oh my goodness, he can't deal with flying. Like I don't have anything flying to block with. Oh no, it's all over. So could you actually do that multiple times too in the same turn? Like if I had enough mana to do it, I guess I have no choice but to at least try. Or no, actually this is good because, and put a stun counter, so that'll at least buy me a turn. And then I can still do this, but then it's going to take too long to untap it. So I'm not going to necessarily lose, right, with respect to the 2/2. I could deal with it with one of these stupid things. But no, I think you could only use that effect once per turn at the untap, because otherwise I could do it like all 3 times and just then block this stupid thing. It's the stupid healing that fucked me over here too. Well, not really. It's not like I was getting in that much damage anyway, but is there a way to actually do this? Oh, you can actually do it. Not that that's the most efficient, but at least now I can block that with the respect to this stupid ass thing. Now I need one thing to at least block with. Or wait a second, I can't even attack because, well, so just wait, and then I can block the 3/3 easily, and I can still block that, but I'll still take 1 damage. Or no, wait, no, I'm just dead.
It's starting to feel like home, and I'll defend it like one.
I was gonna be able to actually trade into it before they buffed it. That's the problem.
I know there's a hero inside you.
And I still get 1 more chance just for a moral victory, not even like it's gonna count for my original thing. At least these are like sort of even matchups. I just couldn't deal with that. But no, I was even banking on being able to block with it. That's why. That's not a knight, it's a Pegasus. And of course that's literally the knight from chess because it's riding a fucking horse. Why do knights always have to be doing that? Can't a knight just be using like a fucking sword and shield? Like the interpretation from chess is way too wide ranging. That you don't even get proper representation for the knight itself. You just see the horse. Okay, so we still have at least one thing I can play here. Everything is just way too goddamn expensive, and you don't really have a lot of things that fuck, that are making them easier to get out there. Which is why you see how much I actually like blue, or I mean that I like green, because it innately just comes with that. You don't really have to go out of your way to get good value stuff. Not even just great value, like 5 mana 10/10 is so crazy, but you know, just like even equal static, like a 4 mana 4/4. Why is that so hard to ask for? Maybe because I have all these other effects to go along with it, but they're not that good that you should have to give up that much. Right, you're giving up 3 attack just for hexproof. Is that really worth it? It should be like a 5 mana 4/4 with hexproof. That would be fine. Or I don't know, have some other negative effect that like does damage to me or something. But sacrifice it unless it escaped. When it enters the battlefield, deal 3. Escape, exile 5 other cards from your graveyard. Okay, but that didn't actually use that too well. Let's go here, and we still can't play anything, or we can. Yeah, see, like this is kind of good. Like if I really committed to, maybe that should be the last phase of this thing, is that I'm able to use as many cards, but I don't even have enough wild cards to make some of this shit. I'm able to use as many copies of the same thing as I want. So I could have like 4 of the fairies, 4 of the invisible stalkers, 4 of this even, because it's a 4 mana 6/6, and I don't even mind if they use the effect, because I'll get all those goldfishes and keep whacking you with those, which maybe doesn't seem that good, but I'm still happy with the whole invisible stalker vibe that you're getting. Right, sure, give me as many invisible stalkers as you want, and then if I actually had a decent buff in this whole fucking game, I could do that too, but I couldn't seem to find any that are either efficient, low cost, that don't last only the turn, and that don't like I don't know, that are low cost, that don't end at the end of the turn, they give you actually a good amount of buff, or even if it's higher cost, none of them. You know, like I remember some for white, or not for white, for green, that were actually pretty good, even if they were a little expensive. So I'd be better off using those somehow. I don't even care if you do that, like I said. This is actually like a mythic caliber card, especially considering the low standard of blue. Like it's better than the other mythic that I actually do have, that summon the 2/0/2s that fucking tap your shit. Why even do all that when you could just... What is it? Draw a card for each tapped creature. Why not just use the actual effect on this alone, though? I'm just going to be cocky and do what he was doing. Like, there's nothing you can do in this one turn, or at least your deck seems so shitty that... Look at that. We need more matchups like that. You see, that was at least even fair. They still beat me once, instead of all this kind of same boring Thoughtseize bullshit that we see over and over. That one Storm guy whose name I don't even know. Okay, so do we get enough? Fuck, we still didn't do it. But we'll have plenty of chances to do that in the future with respect to... The main reason to do them is as we get closer to the next expansion, we would want to actually have 10k gold, which shouldn't be that hard to do, but it takes me like literally a month to fucking do a daily quest somehow. So the blue deck was triumphant, both in the fact that it won a game, but also in the fact that it did better, I guess, in the first best of, you know, between the two best of twos. Or I mean the best of 3. Okay, see you tomorrow.